Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. This is Stephen Ray, aka Stingray, and I hope everybody is doing well on this Sunday about 12:45. And as you can see here, a good portion of the entire country, I would say a good 2/3 of the country, is now underneath a winter storm warning. And this goes all the way from the Arizona New Mexico border all the way across Texas. Now, every county in the state of Texas is now under a winter storm warning. All of Arkansas, a good portion of Louisiana, almost all of Mississippi, and the northwestern portion of Alabama. So this is a widespread and crippling potential of a winter weather storm and a ice storm. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down region by region for you guys, going from Jackson, Mississippi, then going to New Orleans, Birmingham, and Huntsville. And I'm also going to take you guys through the models and to kind of give you guys a quick update on what is going on. So first off, the significant winter storm is expected across Mississippi. And if you are basically in the red shaded areas, significant accumulations of ice, snow, and sleet is expected. 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice is expected. They're in the red shaded areas. That includes basically along and northwest of I-59 in Mississippi. Up to 3 to 6 inches of sleet and snow is possible, especially in the Mississippi Delta, which is I-55 and points to the west. Travel conditions will become dangerous, and road conditions potentially could become impassable. Numerous trees and limbs will be downed, and expect numerous power outages lasting for several days in the red shaded area, which is along the I-59 corridor and points off to the northwest and to the west. Now, if you were down here at Hattiesburg, Laurel, Meridian, if you're down here in the Pine Belt of Mississippi, up to 1/4 of an inch of ice and sleet. Ice-covered roads and bridges are likely. Some downed tree limbs and sporadic power outages, but there is still a threat of down trees and power outages, but it's not as severe as it is in the red shaded area. Now, here are the storm total accumulations. Now, on the left, you have the sleet and snow accumulations. On the right, you have the storm total for ice. Okay. If you were in Jackson, Mississippi, you guys are supposed to see a pretty big ice storm in the metro Jackson, Mississippi area. And Philadelphia, Natchez, Brookhaven, Columbus, Eupora, Starkville, you guys are getting up there towards the dangerous side of the ice storm that is supposed to be through Monday night, and it's actually supposed to start this evening. When you get up close to sleet and ice potentials and accumulations close to 1/2 an inch and greater, that right there is some serious situation, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Ice accumulation increases the weight of a span of power lines by up to 500 pounds. Let me repeat that. Ice accumulations increase the weight of a span of power lines by up to 500 pounds. Patches of ice on roads and highways make travel extremely dangerous. We all know that. And ice accumulations increases the weight of tree branches by almost 30 times. That is why here in central and eastern Mississippi, they are really warning for the potential of a crippling ice storm with incredible amounts of ice and sleet. So that's the situation with the storm total accumulations in central Mississippi. Now, if you are in the delta of Mississippi, Yazoo City, Vicksburg, up to Eupora, you guys are going to see a lot of snow with this. Eupora has almost 3 inches of snow, Greenwood almost 4.5 inches, and then getting back into Arkansas, 4, 5, and even 6 inches as well. Now, if you watched me last night, there was a winter storm watch that was in effect for Tuscaloosa, Pickens, Greene, Hale, Sumter, and all those counties. Just like I expected, the National Weather Service has now upgraded for Jasper, Tuscaloosa, Demopolis, Fayette, Hamilton, Aliceville, and places in between to a winter storm warning. And what this means is that the conditions are very favorable for life-threatening and potentially crippling winter weather within the next 24 to 36 hours. And this starts as early as 6 p.m. this evening and ends at midnight Monday night. Now, light freezing rain tonight, followed by freezing rain and sleet and rain throughout the day on Monday. Hazardous driving conditions expected and in the warning area. And as you can see, Tuscaloosa is in the warning. Damage to trees and power lines possible due to ice on the trees there in West Alabama. Now, here is the impacts for Central and West Alabama. If you are along and east of the I-65 corridor, Birmingham, Clanton, Montgomery, Troy, you guys have no delay. You guys have no issues. Anniston, Gadsden, Alexander City, Auburn, Montgomery, Troy, Eufaula. No issues, because it is going to be a cold rain for you. If you are on the line from Demopolis to Birmingham, you have an elevated risk, difficulties traveling, and sporadic power outages. But if you were along the 2059 corridor and basically from Cordova to Tuscaloosa to Utah down to Livingston, you guys, and that does include the city and the heart of Tuscaloosa, significant dangerous travel conditions and numerous power outages are very possible with this winter storm tonight through midnight tomorrow night. So once again, Tuscaloosa, you guys are in the bullseye for a significant area of ice and sleet with dangerous travel conditions and numerous power outages that very well could last a few days. Now, the forecasted lows Tuesday morning are supposed to be in the teens across the area here in Alabama, and even colder as you go over into Mississippi. That is the reason that we are going to struggle to even reach above freezing Tuesday and possibly even on Wednesday. So this could be an issue where we have down trees, power line issues, and impassable roads through at least Wednesday or Thursday in some places because of the dangerous Arctic cold air that is spilling in behind the precip, and thus the reason we're having the ice accumulation and the ice storm potential is because the shallowness of the cold air that is going to overrun the rain that is supposed to be coming in tonight and then all day on the day tomorrow as well. So these are the forecasted lows, and I would not be surprised to see these actually trend down, especially if we get a lot of snow and a lot of ice on the ground and in the trees and all that. I really feel like if that's the case, then these temperatures will need to be turned down a notch. Now, if you are up here in the Tennessee Valley, for a good portion of the Huntsville National Weather Service forecast area has now been placed underneath a winter storm warning. And this goes all the way from Fort Payne all the way over to Red Bay in northwest Alabama. Fort Payne is on the northeast side of the state. Red Bay is on the northwestern side of the state. So basically all of the National Weather Service in Huntsville warning area in the state of Alabama has been placed underneath a winter storm warning. Now, the most intense area of crippling ice is going to be a stretch from I would say just off to the east of Florence and Killen down to Russellville and then over to Coleman and Huntsville. Now, when you're talking above 0.30 of ice, this is going to cause power outages due to ice-covered trees and power lines, and especially in the heart of the Huntsville area and the city of Coleman as well, and then lesser amounts as you go towards the Mississippi state line. I would not be surprised to see a band in here closer to Coleman of nearly a quarter to maybe even a half an inch of ice on trees and power lines. And then, of course, sleet and snow totals, which is not pictured, could be 1 to 3 inches. And this one actually is from 6 p.m. tonight until 6 a.m. on Tuesday. And the reason that they're saying 6 a.m. on Tuesday for North Alabama is for the places over here near Fort Payne and the places over here near, Sand Mountain and Lookout Mountain as well over here in far northeast Alabama and Mentone as well. That's the reason that they're saying upwards of 6 a.m. on Tuesday is for the far northeastern portion of Alabama. Now, let's go down here. And guys, this is insane. Look at the totals expected for a good portion of central Louisiana and South Mississippi. That is correct. Baton Rouge, Louisiana could see anywhere from 0.25, a quarter of an inch, all the way up to a half an inch of ice Monday. Let me just say that again. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a quarter to a half an inch of ice is expected. That's how unprecedented this ice storm could potentially be. And if you guys live in the red shaded zone, nearly impossible to travel due to icy roads and widespread power outages. And that goes from Lafayette over to Baton Rouge and a good stretch upwards up here towards Jackson, Mississippi, and then curving up here towards Philadelphia, Mississippi. Now, you can see there Hattiesburg and Laurel, you guys are in the, I guess you would say, the moderate risk of dangerous travel due to icy roads and then isolated power outages. And this comes from the National Weather Service in New Orleans. And then everybody else in the yellow shade is patchy ice that could lead to dangerous travel and no power lines or power outages possible. Now, ice accumulations will begin in the northwestern areas overnight, spreading southeastward through the day. It will end as all freezing rain and sleet and will exit the area during the late afternoon and early evening hours tomorrow. Even a trace of ice can cause significant travel impacts. You may not be able to see patchy ice on the roads. So by this time tomorrow, you guys need to be in place and really, really ready to stay in for a prolonged event with ice and the potential of a winter storm across Mississippi and Alabama. All right, so let me take you through the models, and there is a wide range of possibilities here. Now, we are looking at the high resolution rapid radar model, the HRRR. And as you can see here, you're talking about incredible snow totals through the next 48 hours towards the Memphis area, Punnett, I would say Tunica, Mississippi, Hernando, Mississippi, Oxford, Mississippi. That is a 9.2 inches of snow, 9.20 inches of snow in Oxford, Mississippi, that is pointing out there. And as you can see down here in Tuscaloosa, there's literally nothing. But you come over here to the freezing rain, and you can see Tuscaloosa is here 0.13. And this is trended eastward than what it was last night and earlier today. I can actually show you where it was last night. And as you can see right there, it's been steadily increasing and pushing on off to the east. Now, if this is correct, your heavy band of ice accumulation would be from Macomb, Mississippi, all the way up through Philadelphia and just off to the west of Meridian, if this one model was correct. Now, let's go to the North American model. And as you can see through the North American model, it has absolutely no ice accumulation anywhere in Tuscaloosa. And it is confined basically from Tupelo, Mississippi, all the way back to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So if this verifies, Tuscaloosa would be spared any kind of ice accumulation or ice situation. Let's look at another one. 3 kilometer NAM is actually saying the same thing as well, predominantly an ice storm in far east Mississippi and a snowstorm from about Oxford back off towards the northwest. But here's where things get really, really interesting is the GFS. And a lot of people in the weather community like to use the GFS. Total accumulation of ice. Look at Tuscaloosa. 0.66. Almost an inch of ice. And if that was correct, that would be rather crippling for Tuscaloosa. So basically, there are 3 scenarios that could play out. One is we get all rain, and the majority of the ice accumulation would be from Pickens County towards the west, which is what this model is showing, the HRRR. That's one scenario. Another scenario would be what the North American model shows, and we just get a cold rain here in Tuscaloosa, and we really wouldn't see any ice, we wouldn't see any snow, we would not see anything. Or the third option is that everything shifts east, and we get close to an inch of ice here in Tuscaloosa, and really heavy ice further west towards Coker, Elrod, Buell, Reform and Gordo and Aliceville. Now that would be the worst case scenario. And but the models are trending further west, and they are also trending a lot more wetter and colder with this system. So this definitely bears watching. And if you give me just a second. There is a brand new. All right, so what this is here is a winter storm severity index that has been put out by the uh, Weather Prediction Center, and these guys usually do uh, a lot of the winter weather and the flooding issue. And this has only been out for about 2 or 3 years, so it's still in the developmental stage and I guess you would say the development stage. However, it is really interesting to note that this has been trending further off to the east, and as you can see, it is really starting to fill in here with significant impacts across a good portion of Mississippi, basically from Starkville and points off to the west. And this would be moderate to major impacts, and then further back off to the west, and especially down here towards the Jackson, Mississippi metro area, there is a pretty good shot of it being a major impact. And I've been watching this over the past few days, and it's slowly but surely been progressing towards Tuscaloosa. And we can actually go in here and see basically from Greenwood and Greenville to Oxford, there's going to be a pretty good zone in here where you can see a lot of snow with this situation. Now, ice accumulation, of course, you can see right there, ice accumulations, it does cross right into Tuscaloosa County. And this has actually been trending further off to the east and more in depth over the past few days. So this is going to be rather interesting to see how this all plays out. But for once again, a good portion of the United States of America, including Tuscaloosa and a good portion of Mississippi, is now under a winter storm warning for the potential of sleet, snow, and ice. And this is a very significant threat to life and property, especially if you are here in central Mississippi, stretching upwards here to northwest Alabama, and possibly getting into the Tuscaloosa area as well. So there is your winter storm warning starting tonight at 6 p.m. and lasting through at least midnight Monday night. And then, unfortunately, we get extremely cold Tuesday morning, 19 in Tuscaloosa, 14 in Fayette, 13 in Hamilton, and then even colder as you go on off to the west and to the northwest. So this is going to be a definite one to pay attention to. Now, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I want people to know what is coming towards them right now. So that's the situation that we have. I'm going to go back over here to the to the weather thing and see if we have any comments right now. And we do not. So I really am glad that you guys were able to see all of this. I plan to do another update tonight, probably about 6 or 6:30. Before then, if necessary. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Valentine's Day. And as always, God bless. We will have another update tonight at 7 o'clock right here on social media.